Today, our group will present about how muscle contract. Generally, we have a neuron, and when the neuron is stimulated, the action potential occurs, and then it comes down to the action terminal, and it will cause the muscle contraction. And how muscle contract, we will explain it into the next stage.
In this stage, we will show you the process of muscle contraction. First of all, we would like to explain to you what all of our symbols mean. Up here is representing an axon. This pink arrow is representing an action potential that's traveling down the synaptic nerve. The white balls are representing calcium, with this being a calcium channel. These little circles are representing a synaptic vesicle with acetylcholine inside. This red line here is representing the motor end plate, with the black lines on it as acetylcholine receptors. The purple dots are representing sodium, and the orange are representing potassium. Over here, this is representing a T-tubule with sarcoplasmic reticulums on either side with calcium inside of them. On each side of the sarcoplasmic reticulum, closest to on each of the sarcoplasmic reticulums is a sister terminal cystinae. Okay. We would like to explain to you what our symbols mean in this segment. This is a thin filament. The yellow is representing actin. The black on here is representing the active site. The brown is representing tropomyosin, and the blue is representing troponin. This right here is going to be representing ATP, and this is representing myosin with two heads. Okay. Now we come back to the process. Action potential travels down the axon to the synaptic knob and opens up the calcium channels. Calcium then comes into the synaptic knob and pushes the synaptic vesicles down. The synaptic vesicles will then release the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will then bind to the acetylcholine receptors on the motor end plate. By the time the acetylcholine binds to its receptor, the sodium-potassium channel will open up and the sodium flows inside the membrane. Now the inside of the membrane is more positive than the outside. Depolarization has occurred. The action potential will travel along the membrane to the T-tubule. When the action potential travels down the T-tubule, it will stimulate the terminal cisternae. When the action potential travels down the T-tubule, it will stimulate the terminal cisternae to release calcium. Calcium is released, it binds to troponin. And the troponin pulls off the tropomyosin to expose the active site. At the same time, an ATP molecule will bind to one head of the myosin, and now this head will turn into a high energy configuration with ADP attached. This will bind to the active site, which is already exposed. When the myosin binds to the active site, it forms a cross bridge. Then the myosin will turn into a low energy configuration. This is called a power stroke. Now ADP is released. To break the cross bridge to relax the muscle, another ATP must bind to the myosin head and turn it into a high energy configuration. Now the calcium will pump back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum and the muscle will relax.